Okay, another knife maker tool tip. So, I've got a couple of these knives. They're going to be getting done here shortly. Both are EDC RV2. I've already dealt with all the heat treat and decarb and all the post cleanup that I have to do. I've taken this one up to, I want to say it's a 600 grit belt or a Trizec belt finish. And now I need to inevitably come in and do a hand satin. I mean, I don't really need to, but, I'm going to because it just makes it a little bit higher class. So, typical way to do this, you've got different hand sanding backers. You can use a piece of steel. You can use a piece of steel backed with like a hard durometer rubber. You can use wood. You can use micarta with a piece of leather glued to it. You can use just straight sandpaper pads with those sanding backs for cabinetry on it. Kind of depends on how good your freehand grinding is. The better you get at your freehand grinding consistency, the less time you take on hand sanding. However, there still are some ridges you need to get out, and sometimes the sandpaper just takes so long that it's just a pain. So one of the things I like to use are these polishing stones. They're classed as EDM stones or N stones. These are just Falcon brand N stones. They come in a pack of like one of each grit. So you've got I think it's a 150, 120, 220, 300, 400, 600, 800. And they're, I don't know, 60, 80 bucks, maybe a little bit more by now, I don't know. I bought these 2 years ago. So all I do to do this is I take a little bit of water, simple green, oil, 409, whatever you want, something to lubricate your blade. It doesn't really matter, but if you use oil, stick with oil because otherwise it's going to load your stones funny. And then I just take this and I start working my scratch pattern back and forth across the blade, and I try to cover each spot as I go. And you'll start seeing the scratches moving lengthwise across the blade instead of spine to edge. And I'll just keep going up to whatever grit I feel is sufficient, and then I'll switch over to hand sanding, and I'll take my hand paper, and I'll go back and I'll hand paper and do some single pulls with some high grit paper. Important to every so often wipe your blade down so that you can see kind of what your scratch pattern looks like, and you can see what you got left to remove. At this point, it's also good to start establishing your convex if you want to do a convex edge and a flat grind. But I thought I'd share this tip as I'm doing some finishing in the shop today while I'm waiting for the kiln to come up to temperature.